So Algebra 2, this is our review for our upcoming quiz on rational expressions. So what we started out with, simplifying rational expressions. Okay, that requires you to be able to know factoring to simplify, to identify exclusions. That is when the denominator could be 0. Adding and subtracting, getting a common denominator, and then using factoring and addition to simplify complex fractions, where you've got a fraction in the numerator, another fraction in the denominator. So let's just take a look at the kinds of questions that are representative from this particular unit. So let's look at the first one. Simplify this expression. This relies on you being able to factor. So if I look at that numerator, are there numbers that multiply? Are there numbers that multiply to 15 and add to give me an 8? It looks like a 3 and a 5 will do that. So this is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 5 divided by, and then I look and see, are there numbers that multiply to 30 and add to 13? So multiply to 30 and add to 13, that looks like a 3 and a 10. We'll do that. So I can rewrite that as what? 2x squared plus 3x plus 10x plus 15. And then factor by grouping, you have x, 2x plus 3 plus, and then you're going to have 5 times 2x plus 3. So this is x plus 5, 2x plus 3. So this is x plus 5, 2x plus 3. So what are my exclusions? My exclusions come from where that will be 0. So x cannot be -5 or -3/2. Those are my exclusions. Now to simplify this, x plus 5 divided by x plus 5 is 1. So this final answer is just x plus 3 over 2x plus 3. That is your final answer. Do not even think for a minute that the 3's cancel, okay? That's bad math, okay? X plus 3 over 2x plus 3, that's your final answer. X to the 4th minus 16 over the x squared plus 5x plus 6, okay? I got to know how to factor. So that x to the 4th minus 16, that is x squared. So that's x squared minus 4 over x squared plus 4 divided by, are there numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5? That will be a 2 and a 3. So this is x plus 2, x plus 3. And now you know factoring, that is the difference of 2 squares. So I can go further. This is x minus 2, x plus 2, x squared plus 4 over x plus 2, x plus 3. Are there any exclusions? Yes, there are exclusions that x cannot be -2 or -3. And then to simplify this, you know that x plus 2 over x plus 2 is 1. So this final answer is just x minus 2, x squared plus 4 divided by x plus 3. So these are your exclusions, and there's your final answer. Perform the operation and simplify. So let's look at that first thing, the 21. Are there numbers that multiply to 21 and add to give me a 10? That's a 7 and a 3. So this can be written as x plus 7 x plus 3 divided by, that's the difference of two squares, x minus 3, x plus 3. Now, change this division into a multiplication. I multiply by the reciprocal, x minus 7 over x plus 7. Before I do any simplification, where do I get my exclusions? X cannot be 3, negative 3, or 7. That's a negative 7. So x cannot be positive 3, negative 3, or negative 7. Now, is there any simplification? X plus 3 over x plus 3 is 1. X plus 7 over x plus 7 is 1. This final answer is x minus 7 over x minus 3. Perform the operation and simplify. So again, factoring as much as we can. So I've got x plus 5, and then I've got difference of squares, x minus 5, x plus 5. Turn this division into a multiplication. You multiply by the reciprocal. That's x minus 5 over x plus 4. Now, before I do any simplification, let's look and see what my exclusions are. X cannot be plus or minus 5 or negative 4. So those are the exclusions. Now, is there any simplification? Yes, x minus 5 over x minus 5 is 1. X plus 5 over x plus 5, that's 1. This final answer is 1 over x plus 4. Number 5, perform the operation and simplify. So x squared minus 4, that is going to be x minus 2, x plus 2, x squared minus 9, that's x minus 3, x plus 3, times. So I've got a factor, so I need, are there two numbers that multiply to give me 6 and add to give me 7? That's a 6 and a 1. So this is going to be 2x squared plus 6x plus x plus 1. Factor by grouping, you get 2x, x plus, so it's 2x squared plus 7x plus, I made a mistake, sorry. This last number here is a 3. So factor out a 2x and you're left with x plus 3 plus x plus 3. So this is just 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. So 2x plus 1 times x plus 3. And then you see x squared plus x minus 6. Are there two numbers that multiply to negative 6? Multiply to negative 6 and add to positive 1. So that's going to be a 3 and a negative 2. So this is x plus 3, x minus 2. What are my exclusions? The exclusions are all found by looking at those terms. So x cannot be plus or minus 3 or 2. So those are the exclusions. And then to get the final answer here, you've got x minus 2 over x minus 2. You've got x plus 3 over x plus 3. And that is all you can work with from simplification. So this final answer becomes x plus 2 times 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 3 x plus 3. Number 6. Let's do the operation here. So what do we have here? Let's look and see. We've got 2x plus 1. If I got that 3x plus 3, greatest common factor, I can factor out a 3. So that's x plus 1. And then you're going to have that difference of squares. X squared minus 1 is x minus 1, x plus 1, x minus 4 times x minus 1 over x. So what are the exclusions? I know that x cannot be 1, negative 1, 4, or 0. 1, negative 1, 4, or 0. Those are my exclusions. And then is there any simplification? Yes, I've got x minus 1 over x minus 1, x plus 1 over x plus 1. And so this final answer is 3 times 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 4. Now, performing operations like addition and subtraction, keep in mind you're going to need to find a common denominator. So I have to keep in mind all of my factoring. So this is what? Negative 3x minus 7 divided by, that can factor as x plus 2 times x plus 1 plus 4 over x plus 1. The common denominator is going to be x plus 2 times x plus 1. So I need to multiply this second term by x plus 2 over x plus 2. That's going to give me the common denominator. So I'm going to end up with negative 3x minus 7 plus 4x plus 8 divided by x plus 2, x plus 1. So 4x minus 3x is x, 8 minus 7 is 1, so I get x plus 1 over x plus 2, x plus 1. And then if I look at simplification, x plus 1 over x plus 1, this final answer is just 1 divided by x plus 2. If I had asked for the exclusions, they would be x cannot be negative 2 or negative 1. Perform the operation and simplify. So again, it's all about factoring and then simplifying. So x divided by, let's factor out a 3, x minus 5 minus, let's factor out a 2, x plus 1. And then are there numbers that multiply to negative 5 and add to negative 4? That's going to be a negative 5, positive 1. So this is x minus 5, x plus 1. So the common denominator is going to be 3x minus 5 times x plus 1. So I need to get a common denominator here in order to continue going with this particular problem. So I'm going to have x over 3, x minus 5. I'm going to multiply this by x plus 1 over x plus 1 minus 2. Sorry about this. Let me back up. I was doing some unnecessary work there. There is a simplification that happens here. If I look at this, x plus 1 over x plus 1. It's going to make this problem easier because this problem turns into, this is x over 3 x minus 5 minus 2 over x minus 5. The common denominator is 3 times x minus 5. So this problem is x over 3 x minus 5 minus 2 over x minus 5, multiply that by 3 over 3. Now I have the common denominator. So this is x minus 6 over 3 x minus 5. And that is my final answer. If I had not seen this simplification here with the x plus 1 over x plus 1 and gotten a common denominator, it would have worked out. It's just it would have been a longer process. Everything would simplify in the end. I would have had quadratics. It would just have been more algebraic steps to happen. Complex fractions. Okay, so the key here is you need to have a common denominator in both the numerator and the denominator. You need to get fraction over fraction. Okay, so let's look at that numerator. You've got 3 divided by x minus 3. And then you've got minus 2. Let's rewrite x squared minus 9 is just x minus 3, x plus 3. Now to get a common denominator, it's going to be x minus 3, x plus 3. So this first fraction needs to be multiplied by x plus 3 over x plus 3. Okay, so that is the numerator. And the denominator, you're going to have 3 over x plus 3. And that will need to be multiplied by x minus 3 over x minus 3 plus 1 over x minus 3. And to get my common denominator, that will need to be multiplied by 1 in the form of x plus 3 over x plus 3. So all of these operations are to get my common denominator. So let's do that. So I'm going to get 3x plus 9 minus 2 over x minus 3, x plus 3, divided by 3x minus 9 plus x plus 3, divided by x minus 3, x plus 3. So this is what? 3x plus 7 over x minus 3, x plus 3. And this is what? 4x minus 6 over x minus 3, x plus 3. So now I have it in the form of fraction divided by fraction. So I can invert this and multiply by the reciprocal. So you've got 3x plus 7 over x minus 3 x plus 3 times, Let's invert that. You'll have x minus 3, x plus 3, divided by 4x minus 6. Now you have simplification. X minus 3 over x minus 3, x plus 3 over x plus 3. This final answer is 3x plus 7 over 4x minus 6, or you could write 3x plus 7, and here you could factor out a 2, and you would have what? 2x minus 3. So either of those would be sufficient answers here for this problem. Another problem with complex fractions. So you need to perform the operation in the numerator, perform the operation in the denominator, and see how things simplify. So my common denominator is going to be in the numerator of this 5 times x minus 1, and it's also going to be 5 times x minus 1 in the denominator. So what I see here, I'm going to have 3 over x minus 1. That's going to need to be multiplied by 5 over 5. Minus 3/5. That will need to be multiplied by x minus 1 over x minus 1. That's going to give me the common denominator of 5 times x minus 1. At the bottom of this fraction, I'm going to have 3/5 times x minus 1 over x minus 1 plus x plus 2 over x minus 1, which is multiplied then by 5 over 5. And here I have a common denominator. They don't have to be the same, but if these common denominators are the same, it's going to be very nice because it will simplify much quicker. So you've got 15. This is 15 minus 3x plus 3 over 5 x minus 1 divided by 3x minus 3. 3x minus 3 plus 5x plus 10 over 5 x minus 1. So this is what, 18 minus 3x over 5x minus 1 divided by 8x plus 7 over 5 x minus 1. Now you got fraction over fraction. I can multiply by the reciprocals. You've got 18 minus 3x divided by 5 x minus 1 times the reciprocal, 5 x minus 1 over 8x plus 7. And so now you've got simplification. 5 over 5 is 1. X minus 1 over x minus 1 is 1. This answer is 18 minus 3x over 8x plus 7. Or you could factor out a 3 and you're left with 6 minus x over 8x plus 7. Okay? So again, there's a lot of algebraic steps here. It's basically combining using least common multiple and just going through your algebra, trying not to make careless mistakes along the way. And that is it.